France was coming alive last night, celebrating this World Cup win. But in amongst the joy, in amongst the celebrations, were pockets of looting, pockets of violence as well, including this video from Paris, which shows a gang. It's been verified by the Storyful news agency. It shows a gang kicking in the windows of a scooter shop and breaking into this property. Now, you can see them here. In amongst the celebrations, perhaps using that as a guise to smash in the glass to gain entry to this premises. But it wasn't just in, well, it was in Paris, perhaps the epicenter, you could say. But there were reports of this type of activity across France. In Paris itself, police fired tear gas at people on the Champs-Élysées. And this journalist, Joy Reid, was caught up in it. You can have a look at her face, this image she posted saying, encountered unexpected tear gas on the way back to the hotel. That stuff burns. This is the reaction that she had to it. So the fact that the French police were deploying this in amongst those crowds to try and disperse these violent elements perhaps shows you some of what they were up against. In Bordeaux, a car set alight in the middle of the street. Now, we saw a lot of people dancing around cars in a lot of the videos, but here, somebody has gone the extra step and set a vehicle alight. And you can see almost the crowd sort of perhaps stunned into silence around this. But this in the centre of the French streets. This is the kind of thing the emergency services were having to deal with in addition to obviously all the joy and all the crowd control they were doing there as well. But perhaps a little disturbing element. Simon Louvet, a journalist, reported that he and a colleague were attacked because they were journalists. They were singled out from the crowd. And he says his colleague received several blows to the face. His colleague, Julien Bouteiller, later tweeted that leaving the hospital, he was fine, but a bit groggy. So in amongst all that celebration, it's important not to let these kind of elements swamp it or dwarf it, but there were some nasty, violent elements last night, police and emergency services having to tackle them as well. So a World Cup win for France, but for some people, it was a bit of a tricky night.